ABC Listen. Podcasts, radio, news, music and more.
Hi, I'm Patricia Karvelis, the host of the Politics Now podcast. And Parliament is finally back. And while Labor has a whopping majority, will they be more ambitious this term?
The speeches will be interesting. Are they going to do anything with this thumping majority, or do they stick to the knitting of what they took to the last election?
Join me, Patricia Karvelis, for Politics Now on the ABC Listen app.
For so long, the tech bros of Silicon Valley have dominated the AI race. But now there's a boom underway in China, giving them a run for their money. And Donald Trump doesn't like it. Today, Kyle Chan from the global policy think tank, the Rand Corporation, on why the president is so desperate for the US to beat Beijing. I'm Sam Hawley on Gadigal land in Sydney. This is ABC News Daily. Kyle, there's a global race going on right now to be the world leader in AI. This is a race basically to make technologies that rival the human brain, right?
Yeah, so there really is this global race, and in particular, you have the US and China with many of the world's best AI models. And it's quite impressive to see almost every day, it feels like, a new model coming out with new advanced capabilities. So yes, getting close, if not even beating what we can do ourselves.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch how quickly this is moving.
I don't like the name artificial anything, because it's not artificial, it's genius. It's pure genius.
Donald Trump, of course, wants to make sure that America wins this race.
America is the country that started the AI race. And as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it. We're going to work hard, we're going to win it.
He even gave a speech with that title, Winning the AI Race.
Because we will not allow any foreign nation to beat us. Our children will not live on a planet controlled by the algorithms of the adversaries advancing values and interests contrary to our own.
He's pretty invested in this, isn't he?
That's right. Yeah, this has been a big topic throughout his administration so far. I think a lot of what U.S. policy is focused on, including the current Trump administration, is on winning the race to AGI. I think there's a strong sense that this could be a pivotal turning point.
Remind me, what is AGI?
So artificial general intelligence, there's this idea that perhaps one day it could reach a point where it could replicate or even exceed the abilities of humans to do, say, certain kinds of office work or certain kinds of research. This could even extend into areas like military capabilities, like autonomous weapon systems, for example.
Wow.
Reaching this stage where AI is as good as, if not better than, human reasoning.
So we might not be needed actually anymore. We won't need to think anymore, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see, exactly. All right, well, Kyle, of course, up until now, the US has really dominated this market. All the big tech giants who've developed AI, things like ChatGPT, they're sitting there in Silicon Valley.
Oh, yeah. So you have OpenAI, currently led by Sam Altman. You have Google, which has been coming out with a number of very sort of cutting-edge models with its Gemini series. You have Claude, which is very well known from Anthropic, well known for its coding capabilities. You have Meta as well as XAI. So there's actually quite a large roster of strong American AI companies.
So for many, many years, America's really led the world when it comes to AI development. But as you say, China has been creeping up on it. And that has the US administration a bit worried. It even tried to stop Beijing's advancement in this space, didn't it, by banning NVIDIA from selling advanced chips to China. Just remind me what happened then.
Yes, that's right. So This was actually in the Biden administration. You had very strong export controls placed on especially NVIDIA's more advanced chips. And so here you actually have several rounds of downgrading of what kinds of NVIDIA chips could be exported in China.
So the US, in part, was saying that it was deeply concerned that AI could be used by the Chinese for military purposes.
That's right. Yeah. And, to be sure, it was also part of this broader idea that advanced semiconductors in general can be used for a whole range of important applications. So in addition to AI, there are also more direct military implications for this ban.
All right, so Biden brought in this ban to stop these really advanced chips from being exported from the United States to China. But intriguingly, Trump just recently has now removed that ban. Do we know why he did that and how significant is that decision?
Yes. What's interesting is I think whereas before people expected maybe a continuous ratcheting up of these export controls, Trump has reversed the ban on the H-20 chips. Interestingly, a new line of argument has gotten a lot of prominence, which is that NVIDIA and other U.S. tech companies who sort of, quote unquote, sell the picks and shovels, that is the build the infrastructure and build the sort of underlying platforms for AI development, that American companies should be the ones who are dominant in the world, and that people should build on the American tech stack, as it were, rather than cede, say, the Chinese market to its competitors like Huawei, which is also developing its own AI chips. So the idea here was that rather than block out the Chinese market entirely, that the U.S. should stay engaged, at least in terms of providing some kind of sweet spot of infrastructure, but not too advanced in order to actually accelerate China's efforts.
And that's the argument that the NVIDIA boss, Jensen Huang, has been making to Donald Trump.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for America to have AI technology leadership. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for China to have AI leadership. And if we want to be a leader, we have to engage developers all over the world. We have to engage markets all over the world.
So the best way to beat China at AI is to actually help China to compete. Have I got that right?
Yes. The logic, it can be hard to parse out sometimes, but yes, this is one of the main arguments.
All right, so Kyle, Donald Trump, he's delivered this speech outlining the importance of the US dominating the AI market.
America needs new data centers, new semiconductor and chip manufacturing facilities, new power plants and transmission lines. And under my leadership, we're going to get that job done, and it's going to be done.
But as we mentioned, in China, it's full speed ahead. There really is a boom going on there right now, isn't there?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, everyone now knows about DeepSeek and the DeepSeek moment.
The release of a high-performing Chinese rival to ChatGPT has sent shockwaves through the global tech sector and caused U.S. tech stocks to fall.
A Chinese AI model for the first time seemed to be almost on par with U.S. leading models. And this was done at a fraction of the cost in terms of compute. And this was done, sort of in defiance of U.S. efforts to, put on export controls and to restrict Chinese compute capacity. But DeepSeek is really the tip of the iceberg. So there's a whole set of very competitive Chinese AI models. You think about Alibaba's Qwen, you think about Tencent, ByteDance, there's Moonshot, a whole host of startups as well. Most of these companies now, they all have their own sort of chatbot like ChatGPT, where anyone can download the app or go to the website and just start chatting directly with the AI model, the underlying model itself. And so what's interesting is that it's not just one company or one startup per se. It's actually a whole sort of lineup. In a way, a Chinese team competing with the US one.
And these AI apps, they haven't needed that chip that was banned, I guess, from being exported from the United States. China's done it on its own, has it?
Well, yeah. So it's complicated because actually, many of these Chinese AI companies, they do use NVIDIA chips. They do, including the chip that was banned, the H20. At the same time, though, they're trying to experiment and test Chinese domestic alternatives, knowing very well that, in the long run, they may no longer have access to, NVIDIA's GPUs. So there's a question right now within the Chinese tech community, Chinese AI policy, about how hard to push for this domestic alternative versus to continue to rely on what are otherwise better performing NVIDIA chips.
All right. Well, Kyle, just unpack for me now what's actually driving this AI boom in China, because it has a lot to do with the Communist Party's backing of this, doesn't it? Of the government's funding of it.
That's right. So what's interesting is that Beijing is pouring resources into what I call the entire AI tech stack. So they're investing in not only chips, as we mentioned earlier, but in the rollout of data centers, often tied to renewable energy. They're investing in the development of foundation models. They have special local government AI labs, and then all the way to applications, especially in so-called hard tech areas like robotics and industrial automation. So you can see sort of this full range of support. And of course, at the very heart of this, I think, is ultimately the emphasis on talent development and basic research. So a lot of the universities in China, many of them are producing really world-class AI developers.
And we've seen this before, haven't we, from the Chinese government. When it wanted to boost the EV market, it did the same thing. It did the same thing with solar. And it works. Yeah,
that's right. They've tried this playbook before, and they're going to try it again. But the funny thing is, AI is sort of a different beast. And so, for example, just in the past year, we have this shift towards reasoning models. And that already has thrown a bit of a wrench into some of the industrial policy efforts that China has made in AI. So some of the data center build out that was government backed, there's a question now about whether that is fit for purpose with the shift towards this sort of new AI paradigm. And it could change again. So it's a fast moving space.
All right, so Kyle, there is this race going on between the United States and China to dominate AI development. But tell me, why is that so important? Why does it matter who wins this race in the end?
So the AI race, I think, is especially important now because it has implications for economic growth, long-term productivity. There's a sense both in the US and in China that AI could help boost a whole range of sectors, from education, healthcare, biotech, drug discovery, manufacturing, services. So on the one hand, you have this sort of economic implication. On the other hand, there are military implications. So AI could be used for developing autonomous systems. You think about drones or swarms of drones that are able to navigate on the battlefield on their own. Or you think about missile defense capabilities that might use AI, or satellite technology that might use AI. So there are both security and economic repercussions for the question of sort of who is ahead in the race for AI.
Yeah, and I note that Sam Altman from OpenAI says he wants to make sure that democratic AI wins over authoritarian AI. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's an interesting idea because right now there's also this battle over sort of diffusion and who can get their models out into the world. And so it's not just a matter of, who has the best model, but also which model is more widely used. And I think right now what's interesting is a lot of Chinese models are open source, or at least open weights. That is, people, companies, organizations, individuals can download these models and run them locally, run them themselves. And what this means is that a Chinese type of AI might end up diffusing more broadly, perhaps maybe outside of the US, into other countries.
All right, well, it's a fascinating battle. Kyle, what do you think? What's your prediction? Who's going to come out on top in the end?
In this sense, I do see that with some of the industrial policy in China, with some of the government support, as well as perhaps more importantly, different sorts of attitudes towards AI in China. There are some surveys that have shown that people in China more broadly seem to be more open to adopting AI and see it as a more positive force in society. That could play a key role in rolling out and incorporating AI into more areas of life. So that's one area that I would watch very closely.
Kyle Chan is a post-doctoral researcher at Princeton University and an adjunct researcher at the Rand Corporation. This episode was produced by Sydney Peed and Sam Dunn. Audio production by Cinnamon Nippard. Our supervising producer is David Coney. I'm Sam Hawley. ABC News Daily will be back again on Monday. Thanks for listening.